After Ireland, Spain and Norway, Armenia officially recognizes the state of Palestine and stressed the necessity to establish peace and stability in the Middle East. And Moscow strikes down 114 Ukrainian drones in several Russian territories. Those are the headlines, and now the news in detail. Israeli forces pounded Rafah and other areas across Gaza Strip and engaged in close-quarter combat with fighters led by Palestinian resistance. Residents say the Israelis appear to be trying to complete their capture of Rafah, the city on the enclave's southern edge that has been the focus of an Israeli assault since early May. Israeli forces fired from planes, tanks and ships off the coast, forcing a new wave of displacement from the city, which had been sheltering more than 1 million displaced people, most of whom have been forced to flee again. Palestinian health officials said at least 12 Palestinians had been killed in separate Israeli military strikes today. More than 8 months into the war in Gaza, Israel's advance is now focused on the two last areas its forces had yet to storm: Rafah on the Gaza's southern edge and the area surrounding Deir al-Balah in the city center. The pause that the Israeli military had declared in Gaza to facilitate aid flows has had no impact on deliveries of the badly needed aid, the UN's health agency said today. The Israeli military had over the weekend announced a daily humanitarian pause in fighting on a key road in eastern Rafah, but the United Nations spokesman said days later that this has yet to translate into more aid reaching people in need. More than 8 months of war have led to dire humanitarian conditions in the Palestinian territories and repeated UN warnings of famine. Armenia has officially recognized the Palestinian state. The Armenian Foreign Ministry said today, the latest country to do so despite opposition from Israel. Armenia supports the United Nations resolution on an immediate ceasefire in Israel's war in Gaza and is in favor of two-state solutions to the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. Spain, Ireland and Norway are among Western countries to officially recognize a Palestinian state, prompting Israel to pull its ambassadors from Madrid, Dublin and Oslo last month. Russia neutralized 114 drones launched by Ukraine overnight, with at least one person killed in 3 attacks. The Defense Ministry said in a statement that Russian and anti-aerial defense systems intercepted and destroyed 70 drones over Crimea and the Black Sea, 43 drones over the Krasnodar region, and 1 drone over Volgograd. In Krasnodar, an employee of heating station was killed when drone struck the facility near Yuzhny train station. Several administrative buildings at an oil refinery were also damaged in Seversky district. Ukraine has in recent months upped its attack on Russian territory, targeting energy sites. South Korea's military fired warning shots after several North Korean soldiers crossed the border yesterday morning. Seoul's Joint Chief of Staff JCS said the North Korean soldiers retreated after the warnings. Shots were fired, at least the third such incident this month, while deadly clashes have occasionally occurred over the decades since open fighting between the countries stopped at the end of till 1950 to 1953 Korean War. The recent incidents mark a rare uptick in activity close to the demarcation line. The death toll from days of torrential rain in one of the worst hit areas of southern China jumped to 38. Downpours this week in Meizhou City in Guangdong province led to flash floods and mudslides that destroyed thousands of low-rise houses, damaged roads and crops, and disrupted communications and power supplies. Southern China has been battered by an unusual amount of rains in recent days following an earlier than normal start of the annual flooding season. Yet extreme weather in recent years, including record-breaking rainfall, has made China vulnerable to intense flooding disasters such as sudden mudslides, often in its mountainous but populated areas. China's National Meteorology Center said today a typhoon could form over the weekend and affect coastal areas in the country's south. Still to come on News Bulletin. The Governorate of South Alberta hosts the Barker Castle Forum under the theme Heritage, Culture and Innovation. Welcome back to the news. Oman oil price August 2024 delivery increased by 12 cents to reach $84.78 per barrel. The average price of Oman oil June 2024 delivery reached $89.30 per barrel, thus $10.81 higher than price of May 2024 delivery. International oil prices are gaining momentum for 2 straight weeks amid indications of improved demand and a decline in U.S. oil inventories. Brent crude futures for future August delivery fell 15 cents to $85.56 per barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures for August delivery fell 14 cents and $81.15 per barrel. Statistics from the U.S. Energy Information Administration indicated that crude inventories decreased by 2.5 million barrels in the week, ending on June 14th to about 457 million barrels. Gold weekly prices are also improving for second consecutive time, driven by demand for safe haven assets amid tensions in the Middle East and waiting for the Federal Reserve to reduce interest rates later this year. Gold rose in spot transactions by 1% to about $2,361 per ounce, and American gold futures contracts rose by 2% to about $2,375. Under the theme Heritage, Culture and Innovation, the Barker Castle Forum started its 4-day activities in the Governorate of South Alberta. The forum included a number of cultural and heritage events with a focus on maritime heritage, arts. More events will take place in the coastal areas of the Wilaya, focusing on the beach sports and activities. The forum seeks to highlight the Wilaya of Barker as tourist destination and enhance its economic aspects, in addition to encourage the youth to learn more about their heritage and culture. The Innovation Hackathon was also recognized as part of the forum activities. The event was organized by the Office of Wali of Barker. Astronomically, today marks the first day of Kharif season for the Governorate of Dhofar, as Salalah and other adjacent areas are expecting huge turnover of local and foreign visitors in coming weeks. Visitors from Gulf Cooperation Council countries and other friendly countries are usually traveling to Dhofar during the Kharif season to enjoy the misty rains and cool weather, which lasts until the month of September. With schools closing during this month, students and their families can enjoy a trip to Dhofar that hosts many cultural and entertainment events that are tailored to everyone's taste and expectations. You're watching the South Oman television. Before tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. Dozens are killed and several are wounded in Israel's continued shelling amid warnings of imminent famine due to a shortage in food and medical supplies to Gaza Strip. After Ireland, Spain and Norway, Armenia officially recognizes the state of Palestine and stressed the necessity to establish peace and stability in the Middle East. And Moscow strikes down 114 Ukrainian drones in several Russian territories. And with that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin from Overseas Newsroom and the studios. Good night.